Well, hey all, and welcome back. Today I have a very exciting review for you all, the Diaclone HORUS VERSAULTER MK2, the Scout and Blitz model. Now you may be familiar with the regular Horus, but this is a new special version that has been retooled to be a little bit more like a jet, and it has a very cool radar add-on. Before we jump into the figure, let's go ahead and check out the packaging. We have our typical Diaclone packaging with our light blue backgrounds like they're being seen through a CRT monitor. We have a dynamic pose on the front, but overall it is a nice package that really captures the same aesthetic and designs of most of the Diaclone figures. If we pop to the back here, we have a breakdown of the figure and some of its changes compared to the regular version. We can see we have a radar dish and we have the new nose. The sides are the same, we have a little Gerwalk mode here, and then the bottom is pretty standard. So anyway, let's go get this guy out of the packaging and see if he's worthy of our collection. And here we have the basic core with the chassis out of the packaging. For the most part, most of these figures share the same tactical mover chassis, but what is different is the core unit within them. Of course, that will come with its own unique head, and this one actually has kind of a large head for the figure. But that will make a little bit more sense once we start bulking them up with parts. Looking at the core here, that is the primary difference between this and the standard Horus figure. So we can pop off the chassis like so, take it out of the way, and then we can take a closer look at this core here, which has some transformation gimmicks. We can do that like so. We can raise this, which allows us to extend that. Push the head in like so. Fold it over. Fold the nose cone. And then we have our little flyer here, which is sort of a mini flight vehicle that can turn into a larger one. Kind of gives me some Alpha Beta vibes that we have from the old Macross series. Now, of course, each one of these comes with a Diaclone driver, which is an excellently detailed microfigure here, as you can see in scale with my finger. So we go in like so. And then we have our pilot ready to go. Now to illustrate the real differences here, I actually have the X-Core Armament Set 3, which has the other flight core. So let's go ahead and compare these two. When comparing the two Horus designs, you can see definitely the difference between the nose cones. While I do like the variety in having this new nose cone here, I think for the small flyer mode, the more angular, shorter nose does seem to make a little bit more sense realistically as far as a flying video goes on this scale. The larger nose cone will shine when we have it in the full built-out mode. As far as robot modes go, it is a little less stable because of the way the nose cone folds underneath. However, they both look very good. I do think this EX Core 3 head is one of the best heads they've produced for the Tactical Mover line, and I think I would like to see this swapped over onto the new nose cone as well for the Horus design. Now let's go ahead and get this guy put together and check out all the accessories that come with him. First, we have our foot add-on. And then from there, we can put on our knee pads. So it pegs them like so. And then we have another piece that sandwiches on there. It already fills out that leg a bit more. Then we have our elbow arm covers. And then lastly, we have our shoulder covers, which give us our jet intakes. And that decks out the main chassis, which looks considerably better, makes all the proportions look really good. But there is one final piece, and that is our flight pack. Now, I really do like the original Horus setup. I think the nice angular nose cone, and of course this head from the EX Core version, is an excellent design. But I am really into this new setup. I think this new head looks really good once you've added all the armor pieces, and I like this nose cone. Overall, I mean, it retains the same posability. We keep the shoulders, the biceps, hands, all the same stuff, ankle, articulation, knees, legs. Nothing strays from that. We also have wings that can be folded out, and we can have sort of a flight mode while he is a robot, as well as some other configurations, which we'll get into later. But overall, this is very cool. I like how this kind of acts as a shield. It can be mounted here. Also, we have an option of taking off the arm. And mounting it behind the head. And so you can bring it down low and you get kind of this hat mode, but it's intended to act as more of a radar dish and give it this sort of recon stealth mode. I think this is really cool. The one thing to note, the swords are really hard to go in. This could be a little bit looser, but for the most part, everything works as is. Looks really good, really solid design, and I am happy with this addition. And just not to leave anything out of the packaging, we also have a gun here, which is a cool addition. We have our landing gear, and we have some sprues with some additional components like missiles, as well as shields. Well, not necessarily shields, but different add-ons that go on here. But yeah, we do have rockets and different types of missile arrays. I think this is pretty cool. Now what we have here is one of the official Gerwalk modes. While they have a different name for it in Diaclone, that's what essentially this is. This is something that's reminiscent of Macross, and I would like to show a comparison here to what we have seen in the past from another toy line. Now, it isn't one-to-one, and we can actually transform the arms down to where they're a little bit more similar to this, but it is its own sort of thing, more of a heavy assault walking jet mode. And here we have our jet mode. Now, while I did like the previous jet mode that we got with the original Horus, I think this nose cone definitely is an improvement. It takes it from sort of a sci-fi jet and brings it a little bit closer to fighter jets more of our era, but it still has a touch of futurism to it. Now, while this looks pretty cool, it is not perfect. We can see that there is a little bit of Diaclone jank here because it utilizes a chassis from the Tactical Mover series, and it adds these parts on here. So there's going to be some hollow spaces and some things that maybe take away a little bit of the realism of the jet, but once you load it up with all the weapons, it hides quite a bit of that. Even with all that said, I do think this set is a bit of fun, and I think that there's enough different modes here that make it very interesting and fun to play with, and as well as being compatible with all the other Diaclone sets. And to wrap things up, let's go ahead and check him out with a couple other Diaclone figures. This is really a versatile line where it takes just a few parts to take the tactical movers that makes them something very different and unique, and it actually fills out your tactical library of mecha, where you have ground, air, all-terrain, and then we have some of the other bigger mecha, like the one on the right, that you also have parts that are cross-compatible. I do think this is an excellent line, and this is a great addition to the line. Now, I got mine at the Chosen Prime, and with everything going on with things being imported right now, that was the best price, and I have a feeling that this is going to be a figure that, because of being released in a time where manufacturing and importing things is a lot more expensive, is going to never really come down. We may get lucky, but for the most part, this may kind of fit into the list of Diaclone figures that are going to fetch a high price from here on out. So if you can find a good price and you like this design, I would jump on it. But anyway, let us know in the comments below if this is worthy of your collection, like and subscribe, and we'll see you all next time.